I'm just going to make the case that like you're screwed, and then kind of give you a shoulder shrug, and then we're going to drop the mic and walk off. And
I have to admit, I do think that's the case.
I'm kind of getting tired of this. Like, I think there is a cost to stressing the hell out of people.
I hope that he's not dismissing some of what I see to be legitimate concerns.
Up to me what you do, but today I'm joined by the incredible comsci professor and commentator Cal Newport. Cal, thank you for joining me.
Always a pleasure, Ed.
So I kind of wanted to start with, I asked you for a quote a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember how time works anymore, but it was around the way the reporters cover AI and how it seems that a lot of the reporting is kind of directionally true rather than actually true.
Yes, and I want to add something to it since. So I've been thinking
By all
about that
means.
quote. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. So what I said, if I remember that quote properly, what I was saying is I was picking up a lot in the reporting on AI that you would lean into a story without having necessarily verified that the details are true and that this is what's actually going on, say with the new AI model. You would lean into it anyways because it was what I call directionally correct. It makes the general point that you see it as your job as a reporter to make, which is, hey, you need to be worried about this, or this is a big deal, right?
Right.
And so I think that is a problem. There's another issue I'm seeing, though. I've sort of been refining my thinking on this. I'm also wondering if some of what I'm seeing in some of the reporting on this is just a embrace of the form of, I'm going to give you a stress wave with no relief. Just like we're all going to
Interesting.
take turns. Just, I will choose an area you haven't thought about. How about mathematics are going to go away? Mathematicians are going to be okay. I'll take that one. Yeah, let's
So
go.
it's like negative clickbait.
So it sounds like what they're talking about is sort of the motivations of the media and journalism around AI currently, even on the safety side. I think what they're essentially saying is there's this alarmism that is emerging or has been here around AI. And they're using all these different kinds of strategies to try to reap whatever benefits they can from reporting on it in a certain way. You know, on this point, it's really hard to argue with that. I mean, I think I'm as critical as anyone can be, as these guys can be, of the machine, right? Like, as far as the corporate machine, um, the media, I mean, we've seen what the media does with other inflammatory topics. So I don't think it's a stretch to believe that. And yeah, I mean, I think, especially from the marketing advertising side of AI, like, anything that kind of gets the story out. And I mean, I think that these guys, the CEO's behavior is very confusing. Like, they'll just say and do things that seem to run counter to like this sponsorship of their own products, like basically talking about existential risk and all these things. Like, I don't see how that really helps you from a marketing perspective, at first glance. So, but I think what they're talking about more specifically is like particular reporting and journalism around this stuff, and how they're kind of just using it to like fearmonger and drum up drama and headlines uh, from this kind of reporting. I think but they're saying directionally true, meaning like some of this stuff is like alarming, like is maybe genuinely alarming or concerning. Some of the reporting is going in the general direction, but they're not getting a lot of the underlying facts correct. I think if I'm
just, I will choose an area you haven't thought about. How about mathematics are going to go away? Mathematicians are going to be okay. I'll take that one. Yeah, let's go.
So it's like negative clickbait.
Yeah,
almost.
but there's this weird sort of passivity to it where it's like, I'm just going to sort of, it's I call it like head shaking doomerism. You're just like, it's this field's just going away. What can we do? Like this sort of like passive head shaking. It's a very specific style. You don't see a lot of other reporting historically, I think, that takes on this.
So I guess what they're saying is that instead of a lot of the reporting, really just being like the hype stuff, they're talking about the critical media, but that they're basically just kind of continually using like alarmism to sort of drum up attention without really any sort of resolution. There's this like weird doomerism theme that just everything is going to shit, everything is bad, and just here's another thing on the list that's going out. Like, and he's throwing out like mathematics as like another thing they might use to say, oh, jobs are going away, white collar work is going away, da da da, whatever is going away, mathematics is going away. So that's kind of the thing they're talking about, I think.
Resignation of, I'm just gonna make the case that, like, you're screwed, and
Hmm.
then kinda give you a shoulder shrug, and then we're gonna drop the mic and walk off, and I'm kinda getting tired of this. Like, I think there is a cost to stressing the hell out of people. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
getting letters
Hmm.
all the time now from people. They'll say things like, "I feel like I'm trapped in a cage just being hit with wave after wave of stress, and there's no outlet. There's no door or possibility of
Hmm.
making things better." And I think the CEOs are doing it, and I think increasingly we're seeing commentators doing it as well. This is not good in many different ways. So I don't know. I'm adding that to my list. Some of it's directional true reporting, like they really are worried that people aren't worried enough, and I think it's just sport now. Can you find an area that come in and just write a head shaking article that's only trying to undermine the existence of this like important human activity or this job or our lives or whatever? It's a very unusual style that quickly became a standard.
So I think he's sort of highlighting the sort of uniqueness of the moment, and that, in typical reporting, it might kind of go like a report is kind of really advocating one way, maybe trying to hype something up and kind of give hope. And then another kind of reporting might be critical and then sort of give you these reasons to why something is critical, and also these sort of resolutions and how you should sort of look at something. Whereas this sort of stuff is kind of just like, you're fucked, you're screwed, there's nothing you can do. Hey, here's another thing on the chopping block that's going out the window. I have to admit, I do think that's the case. Like, I have to admit, like, I think for me, especially as a layman, like, it is deeply anxiety invoking, especially if you don't know what to make of any of this stuff. Like, it does give me anxiety, and I'm trying to navigate, where do I point? What do I look at? What do I believe? Right. And so a lot of the safety stuff that I'm getting at is coming from, especially the existential stuff that, while I'm skeptical of, and I've made that clear, but I am concerned about, is coming from a lot of these very notable people. It's very easy to be skeptical of the CEOs, but then at the same time, when you have their detractors and their critics also coming out and say, hey, there might be a 10 to 20% chance the shit just runs off the rails, and we lose control. There's this concept of AGI. There's this super intelligence thing. Like, yeah, and then you'll have guys like this who are totally on the other end. It's deeply confusing, and it is anxiety invoking. Um, I don't think any party is particularly doing it fully the right way. If I were being honest, I think these guys are totally worth listening to, and I think there's going to be tons of points of agreement that I'm going to have here. I think, especially with a person like Ed Zitron, where I can kind of say, I'll listen more and I'll decide. But where I think I would disagree is that a lot of times, a lot of people's criticism goes so deep at the hype and they're so skeptical. And, I think by his reporting, there's good reason for it. But I think the conclusion that they reach is that there is really, because of that, there's no real like AI concern. There's like the industry concern. There's like the thing, this might fuck up concern. This thing's not going to go well concern. So like AI bubble concern. Businesses are going to go under recession. Those kinds of more like realistic things, which I think is a good thing. But I'm still not convinced by him that those other concerns, despite the hype machine, aren't still things worth worrying about. Cal Newport, on the other hand, um, takes a different approach. Ed Zitron kind of looks at the business of it, um, the money aspect, the financial aspects of it, probably some of the political aspects. Cal Newport is looking at the science of it. And I think there's legitimate skepticism there too, based off the reporting and stuff that I've seen. So it is deeply concerning. Ergo, his reason for having the AI reality check. And I think in principle, what he's doing is a good thing. Trying to make sure that people aren't afraid. They're not giving into sensationalist rhetoric. People are not feeling unnecessary anxiety and can try to get to the bottom of what the truth is. As he said, people are reaching out to him about that. And I think that that is a totally honorable thing to do. And to be fair and critical of the doomer community and a lot of the Silicon Valley types, as I have been in the past, a lot of these guys have no plan. They have no answers. They're like emotionless when they talk, and they have no solutions. They have no real, tangible solutions. It's like global treaty or bust. They have no policy wherewithal at all. And they just go off talking about how the world's gonna end. You know, not all of them, but a lot of people are more reasonable. They give reasons, but there's not a whole lot of hope in there. There's not a whole lot of resolutions. So it makes you confused as to like, well, why the fuck are you advocating for safety and going around trying to get people to be aware if like at the end of it you're just kind of like there's not really much we can do. Like, it's a slim chance. Like it's just a shitty thing to do and makes people concerned. So I'm totally, on both sides of this. Like I can see both and I'm trying to make sense of all of it. And so what winds up happening with a lot of, the safety folks is their only real strategy to try to get people to move is to fearmonger. Like I don't think that that is really that controversial. Like what they're really trying to do is fearmonger because they don't have a better plan. And I do think that like, hey, fear can be a good motivator, but I do agree that in some of the ways that they're doing it, if you don't give people clear resolutions, clear plans, clear advocacy, and you just say, hey, go tell your representative, and you write a book called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, that's just going to give people anxiety and not a whole lot of hope, and as they see it, that's just kind of the reality of it. And here you go. So, on one hand, I think that that's useful if they're really being truthful, but at the same time, have some better plans if you're going to start doing advocacy. You know, allow people to kind of be brought into the conversation. So, on one hand, I think his criticisms of the industry at large and the doomer sort of tactics are deeply flawed. At the same time, I hope that he's not dismissing some of what I see to be legitimate concerns. And I think he kind of uses the measuring stick of like, well, it hasn't happened yet. This isn't what the science is now. So therefore, everybody calm down. And it's like, yes, we don't want people to panic, but I do think there is merit in looking at what can be and what these companies are trying to race toward. And by their admission, hype machine or not, they're billions and trillionaires going after super intelligence. And whether it's possible or not, I think that that's going to bring tons of consequences. And we need to look at it seriously regardless. What up, y'all? This is Zane the Gambit. Thank you so much for watching this clip on Zane's Zone Unlimited. This is just a clip of a larger video. So if you liked what you saw, please tap the end screen or the video in the description link and watch the full thing. Like, subscribe, comment. I would appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much. I'm out.